We've been joined by former mayor and current councilwoman from the 4th Ward, Ruby Encott, and please give her a round of applause. Is that Ryan Foote, the hardest working man in city government?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the July 7th, 2021 Planning Board Reorganization Meeting. We're first going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'm now going to read the statement of compliance. Commissioners, Planning Board staff, ladies and gentlemen, I call this meeting of July 7th, 2021 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Open Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required has been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Patterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on June 25th, 2021 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedure tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office at 125 Ellison Street in the City of Paterson. First, we'll have the reorganization roll call. Commissioner Northrup. Commissioner Fisher, absent. Commissioner Ahmed.
Present.
Commissioner Savalas, absent. Commissioner Cleaves. Absent. Commissioner Santana.
Present.
Commissioner Udine.
Here.
Commissioner Figueroa.
Present.
We have 5 commissioners present, which is a quorum, and we may proceed. Next order is the Mayor Saya will swear in the commissioners he has appointed.
Thank you, Director Deutsch. Good evening, Patterson. I'm proud to be here in person with our planning board. Hopefully, we can resume activity in the hallowed chambers of the City Council. But I have been watching you virtually, and I have to admit, you look much better in person. At this time, it is with profound pride that I will swear in our newest commissioners. I'll start, ladies first, with Jada Fulmore, who comes from a very distinguished family. In fact, her father, who's a friend and an ally, Dr. Joseph Fulmore, gave so many years to the Patterson Board of Education. I want to acknowledge you. Let's give him a round of applause. We're joined by her daughters, his grandchildren. Thank you for joining us as well. Let's give them a round of applause as well. So, Commissioner, if you want to join me right here in the center. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. So help me God. I state your name. Further solemnly swear that I will impartially and justly perform all the duties of the office of Planning Board Commissioner according to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations, Commissioner. Come around. Yeah. Yes. Go get him, Commissioner. At this time, it was with profound pride, swearing Frank Roman, who's a real asset to the city of Patterson. As a matter of fact, Alan, I think you appreciate this. Frank Roman volunteers his time to coach a Little League team here in the city of Patterson. The Silk City Rangers, they've been coaching for 13 years, and this Monday, they won the Little League championship. All right. He's the best thing. So, we'll forgive him for that. Yes, I think we will. Yes, that's right. Very good. We have it here on video. Live. Please raise your right hand, Commissioner, and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. So help me God. I state your name. Do further solemnly swear that I will impartially and justly perform all the
Check
duties
1, 2.
of the office of Patterson Planning Board Commissioner according to the best of my Yes.
Sure.
I need them to sign.
1, 2, 1, 2.
They gotta sign.
Yes. We need copies.
Oh, yes. The last commissioner is actually being elevated from alternate to a full term. And we're proud of the work that he's done. A major part of the Patterson Board of Education and Kennedy High School. Wait, wait, Mike now. Not that I needed it, but thank you, John Ming. Let's have a round of applause for the Ming Dynasty. So, Commissioner, please raise your right hand. You've done this before, and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. So help me God. I state your name. Do further solemnly swear that I will impartially and justly perform all the duties of the office of Planning Board Commissioner to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations again, Commissioner. Ming Dynasty, okay. We'll give it to Director Deutsch. You could drop the mic.
I think it was just gonna say,
Okay, we have one more item, actually. I've just been informed that I can swear in another commissioner. This is swearing in on demand right now. So we're going to have Yvette Figueroa, the mayor's designee, officially sworn in, because I only swore her in my office, so she has she's afforded the opportunity to do so in the hallowed chambers of the city council. Alan, I hope you're not going anywhere tonight. I'm here for the duration. I know you are. Thank you, Alan. Even if they go into extra innings. Yeah, because it's a subdivision. See? They got one for you too. Okay, Commissioner, please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey, and I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same and to the governments established in the United States and in this state under the authority of the people. So help me God. I state your name. Very good. Do further, well, you remember your name, I'm impressed. Do further solemnly swear that I will impartially and justly perform all the duties of the office of Patterson Planning Board Commissioner. That's a mouthful. According to the best of my ability. So help me God. Congratulations again. Director, anyone else who want me to swear in from the audience or something like that? With just the Fulmore family?
No, but you do have, you must call
For a chair? Yes, we will do that right now.
Thank you, sir.
I also need Commissioner to sign this, please. Colbert, you want to be again? Right here? Sure. You go swing. You'll look better in the pictures, though. They gave you. Yes. Hold on. Where's Frankie Romans? Thank you. I'm going to call for a nomination for chairperson. However, let me just wait until I've received the signed documents first. I'll get them for you. Planning Board Commissioners, at this time, going to ask for a nomination for chairperson of the board.
I
would
nominate
like to-
Chairwoman Northrop.
Okay.
For chairperson.
I recognize, since I heard him, Commissioner Udine, who is,
Second.
and it's been seconded by Commissioner Santana. Jen Northrop has been nominated.
Well, we have to have a roll call.
Wait, or is there another nomination?
Well, that's true.
Okay, is there a motion to close the nomination process? Very good. I remember Ruby Cotton taught me how to do this. Thank you, Ruby. So there's a motion to close the nomination process. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Moved by Commissioner Figueroa, seconded by Commissioner Ahmed. Roll call, please, to close the nomination process.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
So very much yes.
Oh, that's good.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore,
Yes.
did I miss anyone? Commissioner Northrop. Motion to close is passed unanimously, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 0.
Thank you, Director Deutsch. At this time, we'll have a roll call for chairperson. Once again, Jan Northrop has been nominated.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore,
Yes.
and Commissioner Northrop.
Yes.
Now Chairwoman Northrop, congratulations. 7-0.
Unanimity. At this time, I'm going to open the floor for nominations for vice chairperson of the planning board.
I would like to nominate Commissioner Udine for Vice Chair.
Thank you, Commissioner
Second.
Ahmed. Moved by Commissioner Ahmed, seconded by Chairwoman Northrop. Are there any other nominations for vice chairperson? Seeing none, I'd like to call for a motion to close the nomination process for vice chairperson.
So moved.
Moved by Chairperson Northrop, seconded by Chairman, or should I say, I'm sorry, Commissioner Kabir Ahmed. Roll call, please, to close the nomination process.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine, Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Northrop.
Yes.
The nominations are closed. The vote is 7-0.
Congratulations. So before I turn the meeting over to our newly elected chairwoman, Jan Northrop, I want to thank all of you for accepting the challenge to serve on the planning board. I appreciate the fact that you care enough about our city that you would take your time to serve on the planning board, which is a distinguished board. And as you know, I am pro-growth. My vision for this city is to redevelop, and we're getting there with your assistance, your support. You're seeing it in every ward. In fact, we can't get enough meetings with all the projects that we have proposed. Tonight, I think you have 3 projects, if I'm not mistaken. So you'll be here till tomorrow. I don't think I was being facetious, Councilwoman Cotton. But nevertheless, we need it. We need it in this city for the longest time. And this pandemic put projects on pause, but now we're pushing the play button so that we can get back in action. And once again, I'm glad that you share my vision as far as the city being in growth mode is concerned, so that when the governor talks about redevelopment in our state, he talks about Patterson. Thank you. And at this time, I turn it over to Chairwoman Jan Northrup, Vice Chair. I'm getting out of your hair.
Really?
Why, what happened
No,
now?
you could stay.
Okay, I could stay, that's true.
I know you're busy, so.
Yes, please. I have another swearing in.
All right, thank you. Mayor, just don't forget, we need copies of those.
Okay. Would you like me to give it to Director Deutsch right now?
Yeah, no.
I'll sign it.
I only can-
Vice Chair.
At this time, I just want to thank the commissioners.
We need to, we voted on Commissioner Udine as the nominee, but we need to take another vote to make it official. So very quickly,
Right.
Commissioner Northrup,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
and Commissioner Figueroa.
Yes.
Congratulations, sir. Vice Chairman, person.
Madam Chairperson, this will be the last comment I make, I promise. Commissioner Fulmore, join us. There's a seat
Go for
in
it.
between the vice chair and, unless the vice chair and the chairwoman want to sit next to each other, and you come and join them in the dais, please.
I just quickly want to just thank the commissioners for the faith and trust that you put in my ability to lead this board. So I promise I'll do my best. I love working with this group, and I know we're going to make a lot of headway this year. So thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
At this time, I'm going to read a resolution. This resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Patterson is regarding the appointment and compensation of a board attorney, whereas the Planning Board of the City of Patterson requires the services of an attorney at law for advice, consultation, and attendance at its regular meetings and workshop meetings, and whereas the City Planning Director and Principal Planner requires a working liaison relationship with the Planning Board Attorney on technical administrative matters and carrying out the Planning Board and Zoning Division's duties under the City Administrative Code and the New Jersey Municipal Land Use Law to the Planning Board, and whereas the Planning Board of the City of Patterson has the right and authority to designate, appoint, and retain an attorney at law of the State of New Jersey for the purposes, duties, and responsibility herein below set forth. And now therefore be it resolved that Alfred V. Aquaviva Esquire of the firm of Aquaviva Law Offices LLC is hereby appointed and retained as the attorney for the Patterson Planning Board for a one-year period commencing July 1st, 2021, and ending June 30th, 2022, at an annual salary of $20,000. There will be no pension or medical benefits included in this appointment. Be it further resolved that Alfred V. Aquaviva's duties will be, among others, to attend all regular meetings and workshop meetings of the Planning Board, to provide a suitable substitute for any regular meetings or workshop meetings he is unable to attend, to provide legal advice on regular matters coming before the Planning Board, to prepare memorialization resolutions on all board determinations on applications, to provide research and assistance on special matters which the Planning Board may require to be addressed, to prepare developers' agreements at matters being litigated with the charge for such services when directed by the Planning Board to be separate and apart from his annual salary, and shall be submitted to the Planning Board on an individual case-by-case itemized basis. In addition to the regular meetings, the Board Attorney shall attend all special meetings and will be compensated for same. Also separate and apart, and in addition to his other compensation, the above resolution was moved moved, seconded, and approved by the Commissioners. The Chairman and Secretary of the Board have fully signed in said resolution. I hereby call would anyone like to make a motion on this resolution?
Move.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Santana, moved by Vice Chair Udine. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Northrup,
Yes.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore.
Yes.
The vote is 7-0 in the affirmative.
Congratulations. Okay, I'm now going to move, I'm going to read the resolution of the Planning Board of the City of Patterson regarding the appointment of a certified court reporter. Whereas the Planning Board of the City of Patterson requires the services of a certified court reporter for its regular meetings and special meetings, and whereas the Planning Board of the City of Patterson has the right and authority to designate, appoint, and retain a certified court reporter as per the Zoning and Land Development Ordinance, Section 200-2.1, adopted March 2006 for the purposes, duties, and responsibilities herein below set forth. Now therefore be it resolved that Amalinda Lopez, CCR of A. Lopez Court Reporters, LLC, is hereby appointed and retained as the court reporter for the Planning Board for 1-year period commencing July 1st, 2021 and ending June 30th, 2022, at an annual salary of $10,350. Be it further resolved that Amalinda Lopez's duties will be to attend all regular meetings and special meetings of the Planning Board, to provide a suitable substitute for any regular meetings or special meetings she is unable to attend, to make a record of all proceedings before the Planning Board, to prepare and furnish suitable minutes of the Board's actions, as well as prepare verbatim transcripts of any proceedings required by a participant and proceeded before the Board at the expense of such person. In addition to the regular meetings, the court reporter shall attend all special meetings and will be compensated for same, also separate and apart, and in addition to her other compensation. Do I have a motion?
Motion made.
So moved by Yvette.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Udine. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Northrup,
Yes.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore. 7-0, congratulations, Amalinda.
I'd like to read a resolution into the record for the Planning Board of the City of Patterson regarding the appointment and compensation of a board secretary. Whereas the Planning Board of the City of Patterson requires the services of a secretary for office assistance and attendance at its regular meetings pursuant to City Ordinance 200-2.1, and whereas the City Planning Director and Principal Planner requires assistance on administrative matters in carrying out the Planning and Zoning Division's duties under the city's administrative code and the New Jersey Municipal Land Use Law to the Planning Board, and whereas the Planning Board of the City of Patterson has the right and authority to appoint and retain a secretary for the purposes, duties, and responsibilities herein set forth below. And now, therefore, be it resolved that Margarita Vega is hereby appointed as the secretary for the Patterson Planning Board for a 1-year period commencing July 1, 2021, and ending June 30, 2022, at her salary stipend, which is fixed at $6,221 for performing her duties at the regular meetings of the Planning Board, is in addition to the salary she receives for her duties performed during business hours at the Division of Planning and Zoning. And be it further resolved that Margarita Vega's duties will be, among others, to attend all regular meetings of the Planning Board, to keep a record of each hearing or other official action of the Board, call the roll call and record the vote of each member of the Board at the meetings, and perform other duties required by the Board. These services performed at the Board meetings are in addition to the secretarial services performed during the regular business hours of the Division of Planning and Zoning, and the salary for same is in addition to the compensation she receives for her daily work. In addition to the regular meetings, the secretary shall attend all special meetings and will be compensated for same, also separate and apart, and in addition to her compensation. We need a motion on this, right? Can I have a motion for the appointment of Margarita Vega
So
as the
moved.
secretary?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore,
Yes.
and Commissioner Northrup.
Yes.
Congratulations,
Okay,
Ms. Vega.
congratulations to
The above
Maggie.
resolution was moved, seconded, and approved by the commissioners. The chairman and attorney of the board will fully sign the said resolution.
Yes. Mayor, did you want to say a few words?
I promised I wouldn't say any more words, but I want to congratulate, okay, so now you're going to renege on my promise. Congratulations on Melinda, Al, congratulations Maggie in absentia. I know that she has endured so much,
Yes.
conquered COVID-19, and so we're encouraged by the fact that she is healed and she'll be returning to action relatively soon.
Hopefully, yes.
So congratulations, and now I promise not to make any further comments.
Okay.
Is that
that's
fine
up
with
to
you, Commissioner Kabir Ahmed? I was his
Okay.
councilman. He's heard too much from me for too long.
So let me ask, should we be closing this, the reorganization now? All right, so then, since there's no further business for the reorganization, okay, I'm going to need a motion to close
So
this
moved.
portion of the meeting.
So moved.
So moved by Commissioner Figueroa,
Second.
second by Commissioner Ahmed. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Commissioner Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Chairperson Northrup,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
and Commissioner Fulmore. Did I miss anyone? No. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Looking good, planning board.
Okay, so everyone has before them the calendar for July 1st to June 30th of 2022. We need to adopt this, but Mr. Deutsch, you said there was a change?
Yes, I'm advised by the city council has adopted their meeting dates where they're going to have a workshop session for approval of expenditures and disbursements on Wednesday, August 4th.
Oh,
So I
okay.
suggest that we move the August 4th meeting to the last Wednesday in August, which
What date is that?
I had it, and then I lost it. The 25th, that is correct.
Okay, so we'll have an August 18th meeting and an August 25th meeting, correct?
Yes.
All right, so, but the rest of the calendar right now will remain. Okay, all right. Do I have a motion to adopt this calendar?
So move.
So moved by Commissioner Santana,
Second.
second by Commissioner, was it you?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Vice Chair Udine, okay, roll call, please.
Yes. Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes,
The Meeting dates are adopted.
Okay,
Thank you.
so, so I'm going to ask again, we need to close this portion out then, correct?
Yes.
All right, so do I have a motion to close? Do I have
So-
a,
so
moved by Commissioner Santana? Do I have a
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Udine. Okay, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Udine,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore, and Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes. So then at this time, I'm going to ask everyone to please stand for the flag salute for the new meeting. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, Commissioners, Planning Board staff, ladies and gentlemen, as Chairwoman of the City of Patterson's Planning Board, I call this meeting of 7/7/21 to order. I hereby state that all the provisions of the State of New Jersey Public Meeting Law have been fully and completely met, that the notice of provisions required have been properly posted in the Planning Board office and with the City of Patterson clerk, that the public notice and advertisements have been published in the Herald News on 6/25/21 in accordance with the law, and that the copies of such notice and public advertisements are on file in the Planning Board office, as is also the agenda listing the applications to be taken up by the Planning Board at this meeting. The procedures tonight will be in accordance with the rules, regulations, and bylaws as heretofore determined by the Planning Board at its office and municipal complex in the City of Patterson. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes. Present.
Commissioner Santana,
Present.
Vice Chair Udine,
Yes. Here.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Present.
Commissioner Roman,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmore,
Present.
and Chairwoman Northrup.
Here. Okay. Okay, this evening, we have 3 applications that we'll be hearing. Mr. Deutsch, which one did you want to do first?
The first one, I believe we can start with, 319-323 Fair Street.
Okay. All right, so the first one is Regan Rivas, 321 Fair Street, Patterson. Mr. Maraconda?
Yes, good evening, I'm Congress 746 Market, Patterson.
Yep.
The applicant, we also want to express my congratulations to my new commissioners, reappointed, as well as new officers and board members. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so the applicant proposes to subdivide the existing 8,250 square foot parcel into 2 lots. Proposed lot 41. Has Mike?
Mine's on.
Got it. Okay. The applicant proposes to subdivide the existing 8,250 square foot parcel into 2 lots. Proposed lot 41.01 is to contain a proposed 3-story, 2-unit dwelling on a proposed 4,125 square foot lot. Proposed lot 41.02 is to contain the existing 1-family dwelling on a proposed 4,125 square foot lot. This proposal is located within the RA2 low medium density residential district. Proposed lot 41.01 requests variances for exceeding the maximum front yard setback of between 3 and 7 feet, as a front yard setback of 20 feet is proposed, and exceeding the maximum impervious surface coverage as 80% is permitted and 87.9% is proposed. Proposed lot 41.02 requests variances for maintaining the existing front yard setback as 17.81 feet, as a maximum setback of 7 feet is required, maintaining the existing side yard setback of .90 feet as a minimum of 3 feet is required, and requiring a driveway easement between the two proposed parcels to allow for access to the 3 parking spaces proposed at the rear of the proposed lot for 1.02. It requires minor subdivision approval, site plan approval, and bulk variances. Mr. Deutsch, may we have your review?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairwoman. Property taxes are current. GB Engineering has prepared a survey dated March 6, 2020. The survey indicates the lot has frontage of 75 feet on Fair Street, a rear lot line that also measures 75 feet, and eastern and western side lot lines that measure 110 feet each. Parcel has a lot area of 8,250 square feet, or .19 acres. The survey also indicates a 2.5-story frame and brick dwelling exists on the western side of the lot. A driveway leading to a separate masonry block garage structure exists on the rear of the lot on its eastern half. The topography indicates that the parcel is relatively flat in elevation. A fence surrounds the entirety of the parcel. GB Engineering has prepared a one-page map showing the minor subdivision and site plan and is dated April 7, 2020. The proposed subdivision detail indicates that existing lot 41 is to be subdivided into two 4,125 square foot lots measuring 37.5 feet by 110 feet. A 12-foot wide driveway easement is proposed. 5 feet of the easement is on proposed lot 41.02, and 7 feet of the easement is on proposed lot 41.01. The existing rear garage structure is to be removed. The subdivision plan indicates that the parcel is to be subdivided into 2 lots measuring 37.5 feet by 110 feet each. Proposed lot 41.02 indicates that the existing single-family dwelling is located 17.81 feet from the front property line, 0.9 feet from the western property line, 44.78 feet from the rear property line, and 4.94 feet from the proposed subdivision line. Proposed lot 41.01 indicates that the proposed 2-unit dwelling is to be located 20 feet from the front property line, 32 feet from the rear property line, 7 feet from the proposed subdivision line, and 4.5 feet from the eastern property line. 2-family dwellings are a permitted principal use within the zone. Existing non-conforming conditions will continue on lot 41.02 for maintaining the existing front yard setback at 17.81 feet as a maximum setback of 7 feet is required, and maintaining the existing side yard setback of 0.9 feet as a minimum of 3 feet is required. Based on the 7 bedrooms within the existing dwelling, 5 parking spaces are required and 3 parking spaces are proposed. A driveway easement between the 2 proposed parcels to allow for access to the 3 parking spaces proposed at the rear of proposed lot 41.02 is for the parcel benefit of proposed lot 41.02 and encompasses 7 feet of proposed lot 41.01. If approved, this easement will need to be recorded and most likely would need to be in perpetuity. Proposed lot 41.01 requests variances for exceeding the maximum front yard setback of between 3 and 7 feet as a front yard setback of 20 feet is proposed, and exceeding the maximum impervious surface coverage as 80% is permitted and 87.9% is proposed. 2 access driveways are proposed. A 12-foot wide driveway between the existing and proposed dwelling to access the proposed 3 rear parking spaces, and a 20-foot driveway for the proposed 2-family dwelling is indicated. Michael Romanek, architect, has submitted a 2-page architectural plan dated January 28, 2020 for lot 41.01. Drawing 2 indicates that the dwelling is to have a footprint of 26 feet in width by 58 feet in length, not including the optional 10-foot by 12-foot rear deck. Drawing 2 indicates the floor plans. The floor plan indicates a 2-car garage, a storage room, a recreation room that is to be part of the second floor apartment, 2 utility closets, utility meters, recyclable bins, and a staircase to the upper floors. The second floor plan indicates a 1,485 square foot unit containing 3 bedrooms, 2 full bathrooms, a laundry area, a kitchen and a living room and a dining room, and an optional rear deck with steps to the ground level. The third floor, 1,485 square foot 3-bedroom unit is identical in room layout to the second floor unit. Drawing 1 indicates the 4 building elevations. The dwelling's front facade indicates a 3-story structure with a brick facade on the first floor and vinyl shakes on the second and third floor. The first floor has a masonry staircase leading to the doors for each unit and a double garage door. The second and third floors have a picture window on each floor. The right side elevation indicates 1 window on the second floor and 1 window on the third floor. The rear elevation indicates sliding doors to the decks on the second and third floors and a single window on all 3 floors. The rear elevation is also vinyl sided. The left and right side elevations are also vinyl sided and have windows on all 3 floors. All landscaping within the front yard setback shall be kept to a maximum height of 30 inches in order to ensure adequate vehicular sight distance. If fencing is to be placed within the front yard setback, it shall be of the wrought iron variety in accordance with the 4th Ward redevelopment plan. Drainage calculations shall be provided and sent to the city engineer for review and approval. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. If approved, a driveway easement shall be recorded between the adjacent lots, providing the owner of lot 41.02 to transverse over the property of lot 41.01 to access the 3 proposed rear parking spaces. If approved, the applicant shall file a subdivision plan in conformity with the map filing law or a deed clearly describing the approved subdivision. The chairman and secretary of the planning board shall sign the deed. Surrounding land uses. This proposal is located in the Wrigley Park section of the city. The surrounding area is in transition. Newer buildings have been constructed in the past decade within the surrounding area, replacing vacant lots and boarded-up dwellings. Some existing multi-unit buildings are between 50 and 100 years old, and others are being rehabilitated by private entities. The former Masonic Temple is located on the southern side of Fair Street. In conclusion, the applicant estimates the cost of this proposal at approximately $250,000. As your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairperson.
Thank you. Mr. Maricondo?
Yes, thank you again, Madam Chair. We'll be calling 2 witnesses, Mr. Romanek as the architect planner. He will be testifying with respect to site plan subdivision as well as architectural renderings, which are described by Mr. Deutsch already to you this evening, and we'll be calling the applicant as well. As Mr. Deutsch accurately in all respects describes this is a very large parcel that we're seeking to subdivide. The existing 1-family house is a large house. My client resides there. All his family members, brothers and sisters, 1 parent remaining with us, and say they would like the opportunity to subdivide this property to provide a second 2-family dwelling in this area, which really is in strict conformity to the surrounding development that has occurred within the 4th Ward over the last several years. In fact, this is a much larger parcel than some of the subdivisions that have been reviewed and approved by this board most appropriately. So this is a proposal we believe is in the best interest of the applicant as well as the continued redevelopment of the 4th Ward. And I'll call Mr. Romanek as our first witness.
I do. Yes. Excuse me. Michael Romanik, R-O-M-A-N-I-K. I'm currently licensed as an architect and planner. I have an office at 291 Crooks Avenue in Patterson.
Thank you, and we accept him as an expert witness.
Thank you, Madam Chair Lady.
Mr. Romanek, you're fully familiar with not only your architectural renderings, but the site plan submitted to the board?
Yes, that is
And
correct.
subdivision as well?
Yes. Commissioners, if I can draw your attention to the subdivision plan.
That would be GB Engineering.
GB Engineering, yes. It's the subdivision plan which also shows the proposed structure. And if you look at the upper part of the sheet where it indicates boundary and topography, you'll see that the lot has 75 feet of frontage along Fair Street and a depth of 110 feet. That's a total of 8,250 square feet. The building on the left as shown is a one-family house. Looking to the diagram to the immediate right of that, and it's labeled proposed subdivision detail, you'll see what we are proposing.
Excuse me 1 second. I
Yes.
just want to make sure the commissioners are aware, we're working off the GB engineering plan right now.
That's the, yes. It's not the architectural ones.
New commissioners, yeah, it's the thinner one. It says GB on the right-hand side. It
Yes.
tells you GB Engineering on the lower right-hand side, so just look at that, okay? Okay.
Yes, so commissioners, if you look at the proposed subdivision detail, which is on the upper part of the sheet, you'll see what we are proposing as far as the subdivision goes. As I indicated, the lot is 75 feet in width, and we are proposing to subdivide that in half. So each lot will be 37 and a half feet wide by 110 feet in depth. Each lot will be 4,125 square feet. We are located in the 4th Ward redevelopment area, and the minimum there requires a 25-foot frontage, and we have, as I indicated, 37 and a half. And the lot area required in that redevelopment area is 2,500 square feet. And as you can see, we have 4,125 square feet. So we do satisfy the lot width and lot area. Two-family homes are allowed also in this redevelopment area. As indicated previously, the one-family house that is to the left of the large site will remain, and we are proposing the two-family house on the right side. As you can see, they're labeled on that subdivision detail diagram. There's lot 41.02, which is the left-hand side. I'll refer to it as left and right. And the right side, the left-hand side again being containing the existing structure, and the right-hand side, which is labeled as 41.0 feet, or lot number, and that's the vacant area which we would be constructing the proposed two-family house, 3 stories. You'll see also on the subdivision plan, as previously indicated, there is a 12-foot wide driveway which would lead to the back, which would provide access to the parking area. You'll see that in the diagram on the bottom in the middle of that sheet, commissioners. You'll see it says subdivision and site plan. You'll see to the left, that's the existing one-family house, which would be located actually 5 feet from the proposed subdivision line. The driveway, the easement driveway, which is 12 feet wide, will provide access to the rear of that existing house. And you can see the parking in the back. It's labeled 1, 2, and 3, so we're providing 3 spaces. As far as the vacant area, resulting lot that we're proposing is on the right side. You'll see that we are proposing a 7-foot setback to the subdivision line, which would have certainly a side setback of 7 feet, and on the right side would be 4.5 feet setback. The required setbacks in the 4th Ward area require at least 3 feet, and as I indicated, we're providing 4.5 feet to 7 feet on the right side, and also on the existing lot, the subdivision will create a right side setback of 5 feet as well. Each lot, again, will contain certainly more than 2,500 square feet. It'll be 4,125 square feet for each lot. 3 stories are allowed. We will be proposing a 3-story building and 2-family house. And we do satisfy with respect to the parking for the 2-family house. We are proposing 4 parking spaces. You'll see soon that we have a 2-car garage as well as parking in the front. So the subdivision, again, quickly, commissioners, we're taking the lot, we're subdividing it in half, creating 2 lots that are going to be sized that meet certainly the minimum of 25 by 100 square feet, 2,500 square feet, and a lot width of at least 25 feet. Commissioners, if we look at the architectural drawings, you'll see the elevations of what the building looks like that we are proposing, the 2-family house on sheet number 1 of the architectural drawings.
Now, moving to Mr. Romanek.
That's the And commissioners, you'll see the elevations, the views of the building on the upper far left front elevation. You'll see a 2-car garage. There are stairs going up to the second floor, which would contain an apartment. It's a 3-bedroom apartment, and also there's an apartment on the third floor. So it's a 2-family house. And looking at the left side elevation, the right side elevation is as far as what the configuration is. You'll see and we are proposing siding on the entire structure. There will be a brick front on the front elevation on the lower portion. In the back, we are proposing optional decks. That's if the owner wishes to have a deck on the third floor, as well as an optional deck on the second floor as well. The building does meet the requirements of the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan. We are allowed a maximum of 35 feet. As you can see from the elevations, we are proposing 32 feet. The number of stories, again, is 3, which also satisfies the redevelopment plan. On sheet number 2, Commissioners, you'll see the floor plan. If we can start to the far right of that sheet number 2, the architectural drawings, you'll see there is a 3-bedroom apartment. The width of the building, again, is 26 feet by the length, which is 58 feet. As a matter of fact, the master bedroom is a master suite. It has its own bathroom, as well as a large walk-in closet, which has a size of 5 feet 6 inches by 8 feet. There are 2 other bedrooms that are sized 11 by 13 feet with closets. Also, a stacked washer dryer is contained on that third floor apartment. And you can see towards the front of the house, which is the lower part of the diagram, you'll see the kitchen, the living area, the dining area is on the left-hand side. Looking at the middle floor plan of this sheet, you'll see the second floor plan, which is identical to the upper level that I described. It also contains the recreation. So from the inside of this dwelling on the second floor, you'll be able to take an interior stairway that's devoted solely to the second floor, which also has a recreation room on the ground floor, which is behind the 2-car garage. So that particular unit is quite large. Certainly the minimum area for a 3-bedroom apartment is 1,100 square feet. The third floor apartment, in fact, has 1,485 square feet. And the combined second floor with the recreation in the back it's approaching approximately 1,800 square feet. So it certainly satisfies the 1,100 square feet minimum required by the zoning ordinance. And you'll see on that lower level, there's provision, obviously, for the HVAC units as well as the water heaters. There's also been shown for recycled items. You can see the 2-car garage in the front there with the actual cars drawn in. And that's a 2-car garage with a wide driveway. And again, that has direct access and sole access to the second floor apartment. There are no exterior doors going into that ground level. It will be devoted strictly, as I said, to the second floor, which, will contain that recreation area. So, Commissioners, that's what we're proposing on each of the proposed lots. We meet the minimum lot areas, the lot widths. And again, we are allowed 2-family homes. We are proposing the 2-family on the newly created and proposed vacant area. The 1-family will remain as shown. We're not proposing anything at this point. And that's essentially what we're doing. So we do satisfy the height, which is important, and the parking, certainly we have 4 spaces for the proposed dwelling.
I believe you covered it, but each unit will have its own washer and dryer unit?
Yes, as a matter of fact, the third floor has the washer dryer within the unit, and the second floor will have its washer and dryer also within the unit as shown on the second floor plan.
Okay. And in terms of the variances that you outlined, as well as Mr. Deutsch, there's very minimal setback variances created as to one lot, and a front yard setback as well on the other lot. So these are very minimal variances.
Yes, that is correct, Commissioners.
And we're providing a substantial, and we meet the open space requirements on both
Yes,
lots.
yes, on one of the lots, I agree with Mr. Deutsch. He does have that. The redevelopment plan requires a front setback of 7 feet maximum. We didn't think that would be a good idea, especially for providing a driveway in front of the garage for parking. So we are seeking a variance for that. We want to deviate because we certainly think the benefit outweighs the detriment in that particular case. And again, so we're seeking variances which we feel are not substantial. I think the important thing for the commission is always to consider certainly are the lot areas, the height of the building, the lot width, and so on. So we do satisfy that substantially.
So both the new and existing homes will have open space requirements established as well.
Yes, that is correct, and even Mr. Deutsch's report indicates that we do satisfy those requirements of open space.
And those exterior designs that you outlined are going to conform with the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it certainly will.
Okay, that's all I have, Madam Chair.
You only have one other witness, correct?
Yes,
That's it. Can you, is that the owner?
actually, the owner is present, yes.
Okay, would you call him, please?
Sure.
No.
It's not your case yet.
Yes.
Keep your voice up.
Yes. Excuse me? My full
Full
name,
name.
Regine R. Rivas Perez. Regine R. Rivas Perez.
R-E-G-I-N. Mr. Rivas, you are the owner of this property, is that correct?
Yes.
Keep your voice up to the microphone, okay?
Yes.
I know you're not used to doing this, but that's okay. And you've heard the testimony of Mr. Romanek, is that right?
Yes.
Okay. Are you in full agreement with that testimony?
Yes.
And your family does reside in the existing home?
Yes.
Okay. And under this plan, there would be a new two-family house, okay? And that could be rented or occupied by family members. Are you not sure which way yet?
Yes.
Do you know which way it's going to be, rented or family members?
Maybe rented.
Possibly a rented
Yes.
two-family house, okay. And you understand that as part of this plan, there's going to be a shared parking easement to get to the back of the property for
Yes.
both owners?
Yes.
Okay, and you're in agreement with that?
Yes.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that has any questions of either the architect or the owner of this property? All right, seeing none, I just have a quick question. Since the second unit is going to be a rental, I would like to ask if it could be not optional, but mandatory, that there be a deck on the back, because I feel that there should be some open space back there. So I just want to put that on the record, okay, but I'm going to open it up to the rest of the commissioners. Commissioners, any questions of either the architect or the owner? Commissioner Udine?
This is Commissioner
Vice Chair,
Dean.
yes.
Chairman, yes. I have a question to the architect, Romanik, that where's the third parking space? We got two parking garage, and you mentioned there are 3 parking spaces will be provided.
There's 3 parking spaces behind the existing building. That's if you look at the site diagram, Commissioner,
The existing house.
the existing house, there's 3 spaces behind the house. That's why we have that driveway in between the structures, the new one and the existing one. It's an easement where the cars could go along the driveway and park behind the existing house. The new building will have a 2-car garage in front, and there'll be 2 spaces in front of the garage, which is allowed under the state site improvement standards.
We will be complying fully with the parking requirement on the new house by creating 4 spaces.
All right, so what about the easement you have mentioned? So,
Right. We fully agree with that. We're going to comply with that. Those easements for access to the rear parking, which will cover the common areas between the 2 properties, will be recorded with the subdivision deeds. We agree.
got it. Thank you, and thank you again for the recreation room. We don't see that much in many projects. Thank you again.
Any other commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Ahmed?
I do agree
Oh, I'm
as
so-
far as the,
Oh, I'm sorry, Commissioner, it's so hard with these things, and Commissioner, that's okay. Commissioner Figueroa, go ahead. You started to talk, and then I'll go
No,
to Commissioner Ahmed. Go ahead.
I agree. My suggestion was the same as yours as far as the deck. I
The
think
deck.
that would be a good
I
idea.
would like to see that, yeah. Okay, Commissioner Ahmed?
Yes. I just want to ask you, the rear 3 parking, who are they going to use, like for the new house that you're going to build in, those tenants going to use it, or the existing house that they're going to use?
Strictly for the existing house.
Yes, okay.
Strictly, yes.
One of the benefits we thought of this plan with this lot size is that we really provided a lot of parking for both units.
Any other commissioners? Any other questions? Okay, hearing none.
That would conclude our testimony, Madam Chair.
Okay, would you like to summarize?
Thank you. Just like to indicate, as you've heard this evening, this is an opportunity within the Fourth Ward redevelopment zone for an applicant who is an existing homeowner, family has been here for many years, to have an opportunity to provide new quality housing on the site We feel we've designed a plan and a housing design which conforms to the Fourth Ward redevelopment plan and provides substantial parking, open space, and we know that the recorded easement will ensure that all residents on both new lots will have the adequate parking that they need. So we submit to the board on that basis. Thank you.
Okay.
Madam Chair? Madam Chair?
Yes.
Before the board entertains a motion on this application, there were 3 conditions that I heard. One which was testified to as to the driveway easement to be recorded for actually the owner of lot 41.02 to travel over 41.02 to travel over lot 41.01 to access the 3 parking spaces. There were also 2 other points that Mr. Deutsch brought in his report, which obviously are part of the record and would be conditions if the board were so inclined to approve this application. The other one was, the first one was the driveway easement. The second one was that landscaping within the front yard setback would be kept to a maximum height of 30 inches. And the third condition would be if there is fencing in the front yard setback, it would be of a wrought iron variety that would actually have to comply with the redevelopment zone. So those were the 3 conditions if the board were so inclined to move in this application.
And the deck? And the deck on the back?
On the rear of the house, yes.
On the rear of the house?
I'm sorry, yes.
I believe the other conditions were already mentioned in the application, but it's good to put them on
They're
record.
incorporated in Mr. Deutsch's report, and we fully concur.
Right, okay. All right, so,
So we have to mention all 4 conditions. The decks are going to be mandatory in the project?
he wants to know if we should mention, I believe we should mention all 4 conditions, okay, when making the application, yes. Would anyone,
We have a
this
subdivision.
is a 2-part, by the way, this
Correct.
is a 2-part motion tonight, because we're actually making a motion right now, I'll do that first, for the subdivision.
Right.
Okay, and then after that, it would be for the actual architectural work and so forth and so on.
So the conditions that I mentioned would actually be part of the site
Second.
plan and bulk variances.
Right, of the bulk
They do not
variances.
have to be mentioned on the motion for the subdivision.
Right. So, okay, so right now I'm going to open it up to the floor. Who would like to make a motion on the subdivision? Do I have a motion?
I'll move. Yes, this
Yes.
is, all right, so,
This is strictly for the subdivision.
sounds good. I'll go for it. All right, so on the application of 319-323 First Street Block 3509, Lot 41, applicant Reggie Rivas, 321 First Street, Patterson, New Jersey, 07501. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting the subdivision of the plan.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Udine?
Yes.
I'm sorry, you're vice chairman now, never mind. Strike that.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Commissioner Ahmed?
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa?
Yes.
Commissioner Fillmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Roman?
Yes.
Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Udine?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Northrup?
Yes.
That application is approved for the subdivision. Do we have a motion on the site plan and bulk variance? And this is the motion, by the way, which will incorporate the conditions.
Yes, the 4 conditions.
All right, this is Commissioner Udine one more time.
Commissioner Udine, Commissioner Vice Chair.
On the application of 319-323 Fair Street Block 3509, Lot 41, applicant Regine Rivas, 321 Fair Street, Patterson, New Jersey, 07501. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting the application with the condition of easement of the 3 parking spaces. And we have second floor and third floor optional deck, which is going to be mandatory. Am I correct?
The
Decks, yeah.
decks on the back, yes,
Second and
would be
third floor.
mandatory.
The third condition is the front yard, which is 30 inches landscaping.
Yes.
The condition should be removed. And the fourth condition, I forgot
It
totally.
was the wrought iron, was the wrought iron around the front, correct?
Yes.
Yes, around the front.
Okay.
With the-
All right, so I move that the board
Okay.
attorney prepare a resolution reviewing the minor subdivision, which is already approved, site plan approval, bulk variances, proposed driveway easement, I mentioned already city engineer approval and Harrison Essex Pacific Soil Conservation District approval.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Figueroa.
Third, Santana. Did you second?
Oh, was
Santana.
it Commissioner Figueroa? Second. Okay, roll call, please.
Thank you. Commissioner Ahmed?
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa?
Yes.
Commissioner Fillmore?
Yes.
Commissioner Roman?
Yes.
Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Udine?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Northrop.
Yes,
This application is approved by a vote of 7-0.
congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Okay, Mr. Deutsch, which one would you like to hear next?
182 Jackson Street.
Okay. So we have a second application. The second application is 182 Jackson Street, LLC, 29 Weiss Drive, Towaka, New Jersey. The property is located at 182 Jackson Street, Block 5809, Lot 10. Mr. Maricondo, are you representing this applicant?
Yes, we do. Thank you, Madam Chair. Alan Maricondo, 726 Market Street, Patterson, on behalf of the applicant.
Okay. On a vacant lot, the applicant proposes to construct a three-story, three-unit building. The first, second, and third floor units all propose 2 bedrooms in each unit. The site has area of 2,310 square feet and is located within the multifamily residential MF zone of the area number 11 Neighborhood Redevelopment Plan. Variances are requested for lot area, as a minimum lot area of 22,000 square feet is required and proposed. Parking, as 5 parking spaces are required and 0 parking spaces are provided, and it requires site plan approval and bulk variances. Mr. Deutsch, would you like to give us your review, please? Maybe not. He can't give us the review. He's handing out the, we're getting our stuff. Okay.
Unless you memorize it.
Thank you. Well, he has to do double duty here. We're missing Maggie.
We know he's talented, but that would be...
Yeah, right.
memory, yeah.
Property taxes are current. There are no sewer charges due on vacant land. Mohammed Nasseri, providing an address of 29 Weiss Drive, Towaka, New Jersey, is the sole stockholder of 182 Jackson Street, LLC. As indicated in the survey prepared by Rigg Associates and dated March 18, 2020, the parcel has frontage of 26.34 feet along Jackson Street, a rear lot line that measures 20.09 feet, a southern side lot line that measures 100.5 feet, and a bifurcated northern side lot line that measures 29.72 feet, then 29.80 feet, then 2.58 feet in a southerly direction, and then 40.5 feet to its intersection with Jackson Street. Parcel's lot area of 2,310 square feet. The survey also indicates that the lot is vacant and rises in elevation from 120 at the front of the parcel to 126 at the rear of the parcel. The Sanborn map indicates that a structure previously occupied the site. In addition to concrete debris, fences, and block walls, a 2.5-foot wide by 40-foot long alleyway easement is indicated on the northeast section of the parcel. 2-story residential structures exist on either side of this proposal. Rigg Associates has also prepared a site plan dated June 17, 2020. The plan indicates the area map, general notes, a concrete vertical curb detail, roadway repair detail, concrete sidewalk detail, drainage calculations, usable open space, impervious coverage, and parking calculations. The site plan indicates that the dwelling is to be constructed 5 feet from the front property line, 28 feet from the rear property line, 3.1 feet from the southern property line, and 3 feet from the northern property line. The site plan indicates that new sidewalk and concrete curb will be placed on Jackson Street. It is likely that Whatever structure previously existed on the site did not have a driveway. The proposed dwelling is to be rectangular in shape. On-street parking is available. Jackson Street is a one-way directional street in a northerly direction ending at Main Street near overhead Route 80. An open space area of 625 square feet is indicated at the rear of the parcel. The multifamily residential district is intended to capitalize on the presence of St. Joseph's Medical Center and bring in new residents and private investment. The district is comprised of older residential and non-residential uses and is primarily intended to create age-restricted and other housing opportunities. It consists of areas that are close to the hospital and business districts to facilitate walkability and to create an active pedestrian environment. Michael Romanek, architect, has prepared a two-page drawing submission dated January 10th, 2020. Drawing 2 indicates the floor plans. There's a partial basement plan that indicates storage and meters and utilities. The first floor indicates a 1,088 gross square foot two-bedroom unit that includes a full bathroom, a kitchen, a dining area, and living room. The second and third floor units are also two-bedroom units and include a full bathroom, a kitchen, a dining area, and a living room. The second and third floor units also contain 1,088 square feet of gross area per floor. Drawing 1 indicates the 4 building elevations. The dwelling's front facade indicates a 3-story structure with masonry steps leading to the front door, vinyl siding surrounding windows on each of the 3 floors, and a decorative A-frame roof. The right side elevation indicates 3 windows on the first floor and 2 windows on both the second and third floors surrounded by vinyl siding. The rear elevation indicates double windows on each of the 3 floors surrounded by vinyl siding. The left side elevations indicate 3 windows on each of the 3 floors surrounded by vinyl siding. The applicant should advise of any locations of lighting and security cameras. The applicant requests a variance for lot area. A minimum lot area of 22,000 square feet is required, and a lot area of 2,310 square feet is proposed. The applicant requests a parking variance of 5 off-street parking spaces. 5 off-street parking spaces are required and 0 are proposed. 2-bedroom units require 1.5 spaces per unit. As there are 3 2-bedroom units, 5 parking spaces are required. The Area 11 redevelopment plan also requires multi-unit residential buildings to provide laundry facilities either on each floor or one sufficient in size to accommodate residents of the building, or a storage room available for residents, an indoor bicycle storage area, and on-site workout facilities. The applicant requests that the planning board grant a waiver to provide these facilities on-site. Wherever possible, the applicant should include green technology and energy-saving elements into the design and construction of this building. The plans have been submitted to the city engineer for review. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official. Surrounding land uses. This proposal is located in the Lackawanna section of the city within the 2nd Ward of the city and the Area 11 redevelopment plan. This area of the city has many older structures and has so far not seen extensive redevelopment. In conclusion, the applicant estimates the total cost of this proposal at approximately $180,000. That is your staff review of this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Mr. Deutsch. Mr. Mariconda?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. We will be presenting 3 witnesses with regard to this matter, Mr. Bruce Rigg, Mr. Michael Romanek, as well as the representative of the applicant LLC. We are in full agreement with Mr. Deutsch's reports. I wanted to just follow up or amplify on a couple of the points he made, which will be confirmed by our professionals as well. This site has been formerly a residential development. Mr. Deutsch alluded to the Sanborn map. I did a little also historical research with the Clemenshaw reports, and there were residential structures on the site. Perhaps until a fire occurred, we're guessing about 8 to 10 years ago at some point. So we are, now that this property is located within the hospital redevelopment zone, hopefully restoring it to residential use, but in an even better manner because it will be in conformity with the conditions of the redevelopment zone, which is obviously geared towards housing to fit in with the hospital redevelopment plan. So we're on the same page with that. We both did different levels of research on that, and the Clemenshaw confirms Mr. Deutsch's analysis in that regard. Again, vacant for many years. We have the opportunity to develop it. Mr. Deutsch, I wanted to point out highlights that there is on-street parking here in this particular area because of its location as a one-way street, northerly, on Main near overhead Route 80. So that's an important point with regard to the fact that with this limited lot size, we cannot provide parking, which our experts will talk about as well. We will be able to talk about locations of lighting and security as well. We, with respect to Mr. Deutsch's report also, will be supplementing our plan to add common laundry facilities and storage area for all the tenants in the basement area. So we would not be seeking a waiver for those conditions, which are part of the redevelopment request. And so those are important conditions which we're going to highlight during our testimony this evening at this time. So we're going to be calling Mr. Rigg first.
Yes, I do. Bruce Rigg, offices at 1000 Maple Ave, Glen Rock, New Jersey.
Mr. Rigg, just for the record, your professional licensing?
Licensed professional engineer, land surveyor and planner. Been licensed as an engineer since 1981.
Okay, thank you. We accept him as an expert witness.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Mr. Rigg, obviously you had an opportunity to receive Mr. Deutsch's report as well,
Yes,
and you prepared the site plan, you also the survey, which is in front of you. Is that correct?
yes, yes.
All right, can you give us, I highlighted some of my comments regarding the Mr. Deutsch's report. You can touch upon them if you wish, but you can give us an overview of your site plan as well.
Sure. Before I do that, looking through some information today. I can submit to the board copies of the survey prepared by our office in 2001, which showed the previous dwelling that was on the site. It was at that point in time being a remains of a dwelling, so it was apparently in disarray, but there was a residential dwelling on the site.
Yeah, Mr. Maricon, are you going to distribute those?
We'd like to mark that as an exhibit, and we have multiple copies for the board.
Okay, we can mark it as A1, Madam Court Reporter.
It's just entitled Survey Property 182 Jackson Street, dated June 6, 2001, prepared by my office.
I think that should be enough. Mike, I have one more.
Mr. Maricon, that is a survey, that's a survey of the property, right, Mr.
Yes.
Rigg? Okay, thank you.
Okay, so as Mr. Deutsch distributes the old survey, Mr. Rigg, you can proceed.
Sure. Well, starting back in 2001, there was an existing frame dwelling. The remainder of the property was either covered by concrete or macadam. It was completely impervious at that point in time. So the entire site was covered by either dwelling, retaining walls, macadam. Property was on the front property line and on the southerly property line, and there was a very small 1.2-foot side yard on the northerly property line. If you see from that old survey, it essentially took up the entire width of the property with a small alleyway on the northern side of the property. The current survey, which was prepared by our office that you have a copy of, is entitled Topographic Survey of Property 182 Jackson Street, dated March 18th, 2020. Essentially shows existing conditions. As Mr. Deutsch stated, it's vacant land. It's covered by a multitude of, I believe, of the debris left from the original demolition. There's concrete, there's some retaining walls. There may be some walls that extend on from adjoining properties that have been using it since the building was taken down. Essentially, is showing it as a vacant piece of property between two residential properties that currently exist on Jackson Street. The site plan that we've prepared, site plan for property 182 Jackson Street, last revised June 17th, 2020, shows the proposed dwelling on this property, the three-family dwelling. Because of the angle, the property lines are not perpendicular to Jackson Street. You'll notice on the southerly side of this property, there's 4 jogs where the building, Mr. Romanek designed this to keep it rectangular in shape, making the interior work much better that way. But we have 4 breaks, each one of those keeping a minimum 3-foot side yard. Part of that, the intent, which Mr. Romanek can embellish on, is there'll be, I believe there's windows on the sides, so I believe you need some distance between the windows and a property line to the side. The front setback on this building is 5 feet. However, the steps extend close to the front property line, so the steps will not encroach into the Jackson Street right-of-way. Northerly property, we have a 3-foot side yard and a 28-foot rear yard. This property grades up or down from the rear of the site is approximately 6 feet higher than Jackson Street. We've worked those grades into the building, as did Mr. Romanek in his design for the building, so that we could properly swale the stormwater off the site. The way we're proposing it, there's a grass area in the rear yard. There'll be less impervious, so we're actually decreasing the runoff from the site as part of this proposal. So there'll be less runoff than what it was, let me correct that, in 2001 when it was completely covered with buildings. Currently, it's a vacant lot, but we based our design criteria on the previous use of the site, which was the old residential dwelling. As was stated, there'll be 3 2-bedroom units. The required 750 square feet of open space. I believe Mr. Deutsch stated there's 650 square feet in the rear. We have a total open space of 1,021 square feet on the site. Parking calculations, we propose no parking on site, which is consistent with the previous use on the site, with no parking on site for the previous building. Our plan shows the R3 zoning on the site due to the residential area, the redevelopment area number 11. This is a multifamily residential zone where a minimum requirement for the lot is 22,000 square feet. This is a pre-existing non-conforming lot of 2,310 square feet. Front yard, side yard, and any other side yard are 0 based on the redevelopment plan, and we're showing a front yard of 5 feet to the dwelling and 3-foot minimum to the side yards of the building. Rear yard requirement would be 15. We're proposing 28 feet. Number of stories allowed is 8, and we're proposing 3. Building height will be 35 feet where 95 feet is permitted. Impervious coverage would be 47 where 100% is permitted. Building coverage allowed is 85% and 47% is permitted. 0 parking spaces required. Open space required is 750, and we have greater than the 750. Essentially, the lot is pre-existing. We're trying to use it to the best possible use in the neighborhood, making sure that we have a new building that, with 3 new apartments in it. Essentially, that's our plan.
That would conclude Mr. Riggs' testimony, subject to any questions, of course.
Okay, who else do you have this evening?
Mr. Romanek, and the applicant will confirm.
Okay, Mr. Romanek, please.
Sure.
Yes. Hello again. Yes. I do. Michael Romanek, R-O-M-A-N-I-K, architect and planner, office at 291 Crooks Avenue in Patterson.
Yeah, and we accept him as an expert witness. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Romanek, obviously you've had the benefit of hearing Mr. Deutsch's report.
Yes.
And Mr. Riggs' site plan testimony.
Yes, that is correct.
And would you be in full agreement with that
Yes,
testimony?
yes, Mr. Rigg described it quite well. Yes, Commissioner, so as described to you already, what we are proposing is a three-story, three-family house. The project is located in the Area 11 Neighborhood Redevelopment Plan, and ironically, the uses allowed in that zone would be an apartment building, a multi-story apartment building, townhouses, and hotels. Those essentially are the only uses allowed there, and as a matter of fact, further, the required front setback is 0 feet. Each side is 0 feet. You can build the structure to cover 85% of the lot as well, and I believe because of the requirements as far as the land use goes, that's why 22,000 square feet is required. So we are proposing that something more comparable to the area, in a sense, of undersized lots, because there aren't many lots that are 22,000 square feet.
Exactly. So it's clear that the redevelopment plan envisioned that this portion of the redevelopment plan might, depending on lot size, be the home for a large
Yes.
residential complex.
Yes, as a matter of fact, you can have an 8-story building there, 95 feet in height. Again,
So just trying to bring our
yes,
lot
we're
size
just,
into perspective.
yeah, just trying to show you how ironic the plan is, so it doesn't really make provisions for something on a smaller
scale.
development. And looking at it, we're somewhat proportionate to what could possibly be there, which is a hotel, which would take up 85% of the lot with no setbacks in the front and the rear and so on. So that is ironic. We do, as a matter of fact, satisfy the rear setback. 15 feet is required, and we do have 28 feet, as Mr. Rigg indicated as well. So we feel that the project does make sense. There would be obviously provision for lighting and security throughout, and with respect to the washing and drying of clothes for tenants, we could propose something in the basement area or even within each unit, but whatever the commissioners feel, hopefully, that if the project gets approved, there would be
We're
some...
comfortable either way in terms
Yes.
of your design, either common laundry
Yes, that could be
facilities
used,
or-
yes.
Okay. Either way?
Yeah, either way, so that is certainly feasible
Would
as
that
far as
basement
it
area
goes.
also be able to contain some storage for the tenants?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay.
Yes, that's what we have there. And again, we do provide setbacks in the form of 3 feet, again, as Mr. Rigg indicated, as far as the sides go, and 0 being allowed, as a matter of
Would the lighting
fact.
and security be in any particular location based upon your experience, or would that depend on how your construction plan falls on?
Yeah, certainly around the perimeter, but in the front and the rear as well, but it's going to be around the perimeter. The lot coverage, again, allows 85%. We're proposing 47% lot coverage. And again, we're certainly within the height regulations. We're proposing 3 stories and 35 feet, and again, 95 feet, and 8 stories would be allowed. So it's very consistent, as you can see here, because of the configuration of the lot. There is a jog in the north line, and certainly you can see the slope of the southerly line, again, which are not perpendicular to the rear or the front. So there is some justification as far as a situation where we do have an exceptional case, which we can make the argument with respect to municipal land use law as far as providing evidence and justification for a C variance, which we feel would certainly satisfy the requirements of the municipal land use law. So that is the site, commissioners, and you can see we did jog the building, again, to have right angles as opposed to having it sloped. We feel it's a better internal arrangement, which we can look at, commissioners. If you turn to the architectural drawings, you'll see what the building looks like from the outside on sheet number 1, commissioners. That's the architectural drawing. And again, you can see what the front elevation looks like. That's in the upper right-hand portion of the sheet. There will be 3 stories. There'll be stairs going up to the first floor, and the 3 units comprising the entire building. And again, the right side elevation, the left side elevation in the rear. And if we look at the sheet number 2, commissioners, you'll see what the floor plans of each of the levels look like. And you can see we are entering the building from the front The basement is, however, entered from the side, but all the floors are accessible from the front. So you walk up the front exterior stairs, you go through a hallway, and you continue up to the third floor. And you can see, again, we are proposing two-bedroom apartments. They do satisfy the minimum apartment area of 900 square feet. As you can see, I have labeled the second and third floors would be 948 square feet, which actually the second floor is 948 square feet, and the third floor is 1,022 square feet, which satisfies the 900 square foot requirement. And the first floor apartment also contains 1,088 square feet. That's the gross area. The apartment area is 997 square feet, which again satisfies the 900 square feet minimum. And you can look at the arrangement, commissioners. There are two bedrooms, as I indicated, bathroom. There's an open plan with respect to the kitchen, dining, and living areas. And that's what we are proposing as far as the plans go. And there is access to the basement, which could be provided as common access to the basement if we do have laundry facilities in the basement area, as well as storage.
And just one final point from a planning perspective, the surrounding area does contain multifamily residential units?
Yes, that is correct on smaller lots, however, not on large lots.
Right, but this
Yes.
type of development of a three-family is in character to the streetscape along this area?
Yes, it is.
Okay, that's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay, thank you. Please call the owner.
Siri?
How you doing? Muhammad Nasiri, Nassiri, IRY.
You're good. Okay, Mr. Asiri, you are the owner of 182 Jackson Street LLC, is that right?
Yes,
Okay. You've heard all our testimony from Mr. Rigg, Mr. Romanek, and my comments on your behalf.
yes,
Do you agree with those comments?
yes,
Okay, keep your voice up. They have to pick it up.
yes,
Okay. And we talked about some additional conditions or additions we're going to make to our plan regarding providing laundry facilities either in the basement or within the units. You're in agreement with that?
yes,
Okay. And that'll also be storage in the basement as well?
yes,
Okay. So that's a condition that we certainly accept. And that's essentially it. As far as I believe, any additional conditions that we're going to provide to the board. And this would be developed as residential units for rental purposes.
yes.
Madam Chair, that's all I have of Mr. Asiri at this time.
Okay, is there anyone in the audience that has any questions of any of these witnesses based on their testimony? Okay, I don't hear any, so I have a question, and then I'm going to open it up to the commissioners. I believe we already established that the locations of, there'll be lighting on the building and security cameras, so the cameras would be in the backyard, front yard, because there's not much on either side.
Mr. Romanek did indicate that, and you agree with that as well?
Yes,
Okay, and then also, number 17 on the actual application, so you're going to provide the storage room
And laundry.
and laundry?
Yes.
For the, okay, all right, I just wanted to make sure that we had that on record. This is, this is an older area of the city of Patterson. The homes were built right on top of the sidewalk. I see only one, you have an existing condition here on lot area, but other than that, the parking is the only one that I see that you need a real variance for. And that variant, I mean, where would people park? They will, it's like first come, first serve on the street. So I get it. Okay, so commissioners.
I have a question.
Yes, Commissioner Santana, please ask your question.
I just would like to clarify, if you can clarify on the site plan, the zoning requirements are kind of different to the ones that we have in Mr. Deutsch's report. For example, lot area, it says is required at 4,950, and the report we have 22,000 square
We
feet.
did acknowledge during the course of I think Mr. Romanek's testimony, that there is technically a 22,000 square foot requirement for quote-unquote any multifamily building on the site. And what we really all concluded, I think Mr. Deutsch would agree, that that was envisioning a large-scale multifamily residential development, not someone who would have a limited small-sized parcel of this size to develop. But we acknowledge that technically that is the requirement here. And again, I think, Bruce, you had 40, that was based on
what
10 square footage requirement.
What I've shown and what's actually shown on one of the sheets of the redevelopment plan was the zoning for 3 and 4 family dwellings. It was part of the report. We included that on the plan, this being a 3 or a 4 family dwelling, to show what was included in that report. While they call this out to a much larger criteria, this criteria is also listed in there as one of the criteria. This calls out all the zoning for an R3 zone.
Right. So that would be 1,650 square feet per unit, which this board has seen, many times on the R3 3-family. So I think what Mr. Riggs' site plan envisioned was the more conventional R3 requirement, but we acknowledge that within the redevelopment plan, it's technically not exactly accurate. We agree.
Okay, and the same thing with the parking requirement. On the site plan, it says that it's 4, and we have that is 5 parking space required. So it's actually 4, or it will be actually 5 the requirements?
I would have to go back to the RSIS, but I'm not sure if the 4.5 goes up or down. I guess
Mr. Deutsch?
It's actually 4.5, yeah.
Oh, 4.5,
It could be
okay.
one or the other.
Okay.
That's how you round it up.
And
Cut the car in half, okay.
we're requesting the 5 now.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, hearing none. Mr. Maricondo?
Madam Chair, that would conclude our testimony as we indicated. As you accurately pointed out, this is a very old section of the city, which was designed for this type of home. Due to circumstances really beyond my client's control, the older residential structure was lost, unfortunately, by fire, we assume, and now there's an opportunity to restore this property to current residential housing standards as a 3-family, both in terms of Patterson building codes and state DCA requirements. And we do believe that the design that we've put forth here by Mr. Rigg and Mr. Romanek will make this really a prime piece of residential real estate development on this area. Not something of a large scale like the redevelopment plan might envision for this general area, but something that fits this piece of property. And we do believe that the parking will work out on a non-street basis as everyone else does on the Jackson Street area there. We do agree to conditions regarding security and lighting to be shown on the final plan, also the laundry facilities and storage facilities as well. So we do certainly accept those conditions. Those are good suggestions by Mr. Deutsch and the commissioners. And interestingly, Mr. Deutsch, myself, and Mr. Rigg all confirmed in 3 different methods of research that this was residential in the past, even though at one time this was an industrial zone, I believe, at one time. I think that's correct. Yeah, so this property has a very long history of variations of its zoning, but I think this is what fits now. That's why we are here tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, would any commissioner like to make a motion on this application?
I'd like to make the motion.
Yes, Commissioner Figueroa.
On the application of 182 Jackson Street LLC, at the property address of 182 Jackson Street, Block 5809, Lot 10, I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting site plan approval, bulk variances, subject to city engineer, HEP Soil Conservation Services, with the following conditions, that they include storage, laundry facilities on site in the basement area, and the parking variance.
Second.
And the lighting and the cameras.
The lighting and the
Right,
cameras,
make sure.
I'm sorry.
Okay, second by Commissioner Ahmed, was that it? Was I correct? Commissioner Ahmed? Okay, roll call, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Commissioner Figueroa?
Yes.
Commissioner Ahmed?
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmar?
Yes.
Commissioner Romans?
Yes.
Commissioner Santana?
Yes.
Vice Chairman Odine?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes.
The application is approved by 7-0 vote.
We thank you very much.
Congratulations. Okay, we have one last application. We also have some resolutions this evening, so don't jump up and leave.
Take 2 minutes break.
Mr. Deutsch, are you going to be handing out? Yes, you are. Okay, so we'll wait for you.
Should we take a 2 minutes break? 2 minutes restroom break?
Let's take a 2-minute break. 3 minutes, 3-minute break. We'll take a 3-minute break
Sounds good.
and give Mr. Deutsch a moment to do 2 jobs.
That's all right, during the day, he does about 50, so.
Okay. So the third application is Garfco, Urban Renewal Corporation, 500 Marshall Street, Patterson, New Jersey. Mr. Maricondo, you're representing the applicant?
We do, Alan Maricondo, on behalf of the applicant.
Okay. So this applicant proposes to, so this is another two-part application. The applicant proposes to subdivide the existing 113,875 square foot parcel into two lots. Proposed lot 3.01 is to contain an existing one-story masonry building on a proposed 103,417 square foot lot. Proposed lot 3.02 is to contain an existing one-story masonry building on a proposed, I think it's supposed to be here, there's a typo, a proposed lot of 10,458 square foot lot. This proposal is located within the I-1 Light Industrial District. Proposed lot 3.02 requests variances for one side yard setback as a minimum of 10 feet is required and 5.7 feet is existing. And from section 500-7.2A.2 of the zoning ordinance relating to the parking being set back a minimum of 3 feet from property lines. Requires minor subdivision approval, site plan approval, and bulk variances. Mr. Deutsch, can you give us your review, please?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairperson. Peter Garfano and Daniel Garfano providing an address of 500 Marshall Street, Patterson, New Jersey. Each own 50% of the stock of Garfco Urban Renewal Corporation. Property taxes and sewer charges are current. As indicated on the survey prepared by Rigg Associates and revised to August 2nd, 2019, parcel's total area 434.39 feet along Marshall Street, a northern lot line that measures 430.56 feet, a western lot line that measures 153.01 feet, and a southern lot line that measures 421.05 feet. 113,875 square feet, or 2.61 acres, is contained in the site. The property has a mostly paved surface. Structures on the property include 6 trailer sheds and 2 one-story masonry buildings. A transformer is subject to a PSE&G easement that is existing. A plan titled Subdivision Plan of Property at 154-178 Dakota Street, also known as 500 Marshall Street, has been prepared by Rigg Associates. Proposed lot 3.01 is to contain area of 103,417 square feet, or 2.37 acres. The one-story masonry building and roof area containing 23,690 square feet and 1 trailer shed will remain on proposed lot 3.01. Additionally, 18 parking spaces, including 1 handicap space, will be formally striped within 2 existing paved areas of proposed lot 3.01. The existing gravel truck parking area at the rear of the site shall remain. Proposed lot 3.02 is to contain an area of 10,458 square feet, or 0.24 acres. The one-story masonry building containing 2,400 square feet and striped parking for 12 vehicles is proposed. Fences and trailers are to be relocated as required. The existing tenant of lot 3.01 is Polar Service Center that provides parts and repairs for trailers. The existing tenant of lot 3.02 is an auto, sound, and auto repair business. The 2 existing depressed curb cuts serving the site are not indicated on the plan. The applicant shall explain how vehicles will access proposed lot 3.02 and whether an access easement is requested. An existing non-conforming condition to remain is for providing less than the 10-foot side yard setback for proposed lot 3.02 and from section 500-7.2A2 of the zoning ordinance that requires that parking areas shall be set back a minimum of 3 feet from the side and rear property lines. Any previous planning board or zoning board approvals, conditions, and requirements for earlier proposals for the development of this property shall remain in full force and effect. The application contemplates no building improvements under this application. Any future site improvements and/or changes to the properties will require an application to the Division of Planning and Zoning. If approved, the applicant shall file a subdivision plan in conformity with the map filing law or a deed clearly describing the approved minor subdivision. The chairman and secretary of the planning board shall sign the deed. It shall be the responsibility of the applicant and/or the preparer of the plan to obtain a letter from the city engineer indicating that the plans have been satisfactorily reviewed prior to the plans being released to the construction official and/or for final approval. Surrounding land uses. This proposal is located in the Lackawanna section of the city. The city of Clifton is adjacent to the south of the property. The Dr. Hani Awadallah Elementary School of Patterson is located on the eastern side of Marshall Street, south of Dakota Street. In conclusion, the applicant estimates the cost of this proposal at approximately $10,000. As your staff review for this proposal, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Mr. Deutsch. Mr. Maricondo?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Good evening again. We'll be calling Mr. Rigg as well as the applicant, Mr. Garfano. I will highlight and point out from Mr. Deutsch's report that this is strictly a minor subdivision. There is no new proposed use or construction on the site. These are existing condition industrial uses that have been located in the industrial zone for many, many years. By way of just some background, Mr. Garfano's family are long time Pattersonian businessmen. The site was operated for their business, which involved truck repair and metal fabricating type of work, many years. The reference to Urban Renewal Corporation goes back to the late 70s when the Garfanos were very involved in urban renewal projects in the city of Patterson. So what is present there on the site are two tenants, and there'll be no change in their uses. This subdivision is sought and necessitated by virtue of the fact that one of the tenants would like to buy one of the parcels that he's operating as a tenant on, and that would leave the applicant with one of the two pieces. If the subdivision were granted, we would be able to sell that ongoing business, which is a permitted use in the industrial zone. So we're not contemplating any new usage whatsoever. This is strictly a subdivision in this case. So I'll call Mr. Rigg at this time.
Yes, I do. Bruce Rigg, R-I-G-G, offices at 1000 Maple Ave, Glen Rock, New Jersey, licensed engineer, surveyor, and planner in the state of New Jersey.
And we accept you as an expert witness. Thank you.
Mr. Rigg, you prepared our site plan in question, is that right?
Yes. You have both the survey of property at 154 to 178 Dakota, also known as 500 Marshall Street, last revised August 12th, 2019. And the subdivision plot of the same name, revised to March 6, 2020. I don't know if it's pertinent, but just to resolve the issue that I have in my mind, the Dakota Street address is because Dakota Street used to extend through this property, so it had its frontage on Dakota Street before it was vacated. The 500 Marshall Street came into being when this property was redeveloped back in the 70s. Yep. What we have in front of you is a subdivision with two variances in the I-1 zone. This is property known as Lot 3, Block 5412, in the I-1 light industrial zone. The property is on the westerly side of Marshall Street on the southerly the boundary line between the city of Patterson and the city of Clifton. The property in question also backs up to Route 19 in the rear. Essentially, it's fully developed site with two different uses on the site. The one being the main building at 500 Marshall Street, which is the repair of, I believe, of tanks. And the second one is automobile, I believe, for auto sound in the front lot. Our proposal is to cut the two lots and separate the two uses. The proposed lot, which is the smaller in the southeast corner of the property, is the smaller building right at the boundary line of Clifton and Patterson and on Marshall Street. That lot will be 10,458 square feet. The objective of our design of this lot was to ensure we had sufficient room to put the parking in the rear of the building so that they would have adequate parking on the site. We are asking for a variance for a three foot from the rear property line with the parking spaces. Break shall be set by a minimum of 3 from the side of rear property where less than 3 is proposed. We have 45 feet from the rear of the building, so, and it's not exactly parallel, so we will be slightly less than the 3 feet between the parking spaces and the proposed property line. The proposed lot, the requirements for these two lots is 10,000 square foot minimum is required. The main lot is 103,417 square feet. The smaller lot is 10,458. Lot width minimum is 100 feet. The larger lot is 292.9 feet, and the smaller lot is 133.9. Front yard setbacks, 10-foot minimum is required. Lot 3.01, or the larger lot, is 14.4, and 16.3 to lot 3.02. We have minimum side yards of 10 feet, where 74.6 feet is proposed, or is existing for the lot 3.01. Lot 3.02, we have 30 feet on one side, and we have a minimum on the other side of 10, where we have 149.4 and 35.7. We have an existing non-conforming side yard, and I have to apologize. This lot, that should be 5.7, not 35.7 for the side yard, for lot 3.02. We have a 5.7-foot side yard where 10 foot is required, but that's a pre-existing non-conforming condition. We're not changing anything. We're just proposing it. We're listing it as an existing condition. The rear yard setback, 10-foot minimum is required. We have 140 for lot 3.01 and 45 for 3.02. A building height maximum of 40, and we're less than 40 feet for both buildings. Floor area ratio is permitted is 2, and both are at 0.23, and lot coverage allowed is 60%, and we're essentially at 23%. We're essentially not proposing to do anything as part of this subdivision. My client can confirm, but at this point in time, the access to the proposed lot 3.02 comes through where 3.01 exists. He is not proposing a new driveway, so one or two alternatives will happen. The purchaser of lot 3.202 will either have an access easement through his site, or he will come into the city of Patterson and obtain a permit for a driveway apron individual to his site. So one or the other, but it hasn't been decided which will happen at this point in time.
So we would like to leave that as an either-or option with respect to our proposal.
Yeah, if they do not add a driveway apron, they will require an access easement through lot 3.01 to 3.02.
Which Mr. Deutsch correctly referred to, of course, yep.
We show on here the parking calculations. Lot 3.01 requires 15 spaces, and we're proposing 18. And lot 3.02 requires 12 spaces, and we're proposing 12 spaces, so we're conforming with the parking also.
So there's no building improvements proposed whatsoever?
None at this time, none.
And,
Actually, the only improvement was removal of some trailer sheds
right.
that were on the site.
Right. So the existing businesses, assuming things move forward as we anticipate, would remain, and Mr. Garfano will talk about the proposal about the purchase.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Okay, please close, you're going to call your next witness, please.
Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yes, I do. Peter Garfano III.
Peter, would you state your position with the LLC? You're one of the principal owners?
Yes, I am.
Okay. As such, you're very familiar with this site for many years, of course?
Yes.
And you've heard Mr. Riggs' testimony, Mr. Deutsch's report, and my comments. Are you in agreement with those?
Yes, I am.
And the purpose of this, the subdivision, is The circumstances are that you have two existing tenants now for quite some time there.
Correct.
This was part of the original Garfco business site.
Yes, it was.
Okay. And you would like, or there's anticipation that there may be, if the subdivision goes through, a sale to one of the pieces to one of the tenants.
Correct.
You know which one that might be, or,
Yeah, the automobile sound business.
and he is, which are the pieces, the larger or the smaller?
He's in the smaller piece.
Okay. So that would be, in effect, leaving you as the owner of one piece down the road, but as part of this subdivision, you would retain ownership to if and when that sale takes place.
That's correct.
Okay. And if the sale takes place, you would remain as a landlord for the larger tenant?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. And you're not proposing any changes or improvements to the site whatsoever?
No.
And we talked about the fact, Mr. Deutsch did as well, that these are permitted uses in the I-1 light industrial zone. So that's the only purpose of the subdivision at this time.
Yes, that's right.
That's all I have, Madam Chair.
Thank you. Seeing no one in the audience, obviously there is no objectors here, so let me, I mean, I can obviously see that, so I'll open it up to the commissioners. Commissioners, any questions of any of these applicants, any of these people, the witnesses? Okay. Mr. Maricondo, would you like to summarize?
Thank you.
Yes, just indicating again that this is an application to accommodate a large parcel which has two existing businesses which employ Patterson residents. The Garfco are longtime Patterson businessmen that did employ many residents for many years. And this development has come to the point where there's one tenant who's anxious to make a permanent commitment on the smaller parcel. So that's why we're trying to accommodate that possibility. But otherwise, there's really no change on the site. Thank you.
Okay, so that being said, we're just going to do a one,
Yeah.
we don't have to do it in two parts, it's only going to be one part, it's a motion for the subdivision. Do I have a motion from any
This is
commissioner?
Commissioner Udine.
Yes, Commissioner, Vice Chair Udine.
On the application of Garfco R1 Renewal Corporation, 500 Marshall Street, Patterson, New Jersey, 07503, property address 154-178 Dakota Street, also known as 500 Marshall Street, Block 5412, Lot 3. I move that the board attorney prepare a resolution granting the minor subdivision with the approval of site plan approval, block variances, subject to city engineer approval and Passaic County Planning Board approval.
Second?
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Fulmar,
Yes.
Commissioner Romans,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Udine,
Yes.
and Chairwoman Northrup.
Yes, congratulations.
This application is approved by a 7-0 vote.
We thank you very much. Good evening.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so now, don't run out, everybody. We have some resolutions that need to be approved.
Yep, we have 3 resolutions. Michael, you want me to go in any order?
Sure,
You tell me.
whatever order you
Okay, throw them up and just read them.
One
read
at
the
a
first one that
time,
comes
Al.
down?
Yes.
Okay. On the application of 86-88 Broadway LLC for the property located at 86-88 Broadway, Block 4402, Lot 2, the property being located in the B4 Central Business District, Downtown Commercial Historic District Overlay. The applicant was seeking site plan approval on bulk variances to convert the existing second and third floors of a 3-story building from office use to residential use. The board considered and approved this matter at its regular meeting of June 2nd, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So, second?
So moved by me, and Commissioner Santana, second. Okay, roll call.
Michael has the,
Okay.
eligible commissioners.
Yes. Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana,
Yes.
Vice Chairperson Udine,
Yes.
and Chairperson Northrup.
Yes.
on the application of Sandra's Express Shipping LLC for the property located at 979-981 Market Street, Block 7915, Lot 14. The property being located in the B3 General Business District. The applicant was seeking site plan approval on bulk variances to occupy a portion of the first floor commercial space for their wholesale and retail distribution for the sale of appliances and household products. The board considered this matter and approved this matter at its regular meeting, of May 17, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana, and Chairperson Northrup.
Yes.
Okay.
On the application of Presidential Properties LLC for the property located at a point formed by the intersection of the southeasterly street line of Holzman Street with the southwesterly street line of Stout Street. The property being located in the OS zone of the First Ward redevelopment plan. The applicant was seeking a planning board recommendation to the city council that the street vacation would be approved as indicated in the review. The board considered and recommended this application, this street vacation to the city council at its regular meeting of June 2nd, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Santana. Roll call.
Commissioner Ahmed,
Yes.
Commissioner Figueroa,
Yes.
Commissioner Santana, Vice Chairperson Udine,
Yes.
and Chairperson Northrup.
Yes. Is that all we have in terms of resolutions?
Correct.
Okay, so I don't know, I just want to, I think we should be waiting for Ryan.
We do have one more matter. I have a request for a special meeting.
I was going to ask you, our next meeting is the last Wednesday of July, am I correct?
If the board schedules 23 regular meetings per year. Usually, we only have one regular meeting in July, which is tonight. So if the board agrees to meet for a special meeting on July 28th, we'll hear two cases.
Yes. Is everyone, do we have to vote on this?
Well, I just need to know that 5 commissioners would be available.
Well, I will be available. Commissioner Santana will be available. I'm looking at Commissioner Fulmore, Commissioner Udine. Vice Chair Udine. No, I'm talking to, Commissioner Ahmed cannot be here. I remember you told me you're going to be away. Commissioner Figueroa? Yes? Okay. Okay. Everyone, we got everyone.
Okay.
Everyone.
Thank
no,
you.
we're
So
not- we're
July
not being-
28th,
Missing one person.
on the web, not here,
Right. Yes.
virtual, we'll have 2 special meetings beginning at 6:30.
Right.
Correct.
Yes, 2 special
2
meetings that night.
There'll be 2 meetings. Each meeting will have 1 case on it.
I didn't hear that. What?
It's 2 meetings.
Right. Okay, 2 meetings that night, 2 special meetings.
At
With-
6:30?
One at 6:30, one at 7,
6:30 and one 7,
whatever.
yes. We'll
Okay.
schedule it for 7, but it'll probably not be 7.
Okay, so that settles that. I just have one last matter. This evening went very smoothly, but moving forward, sometimes the applications get a little complicated. I'm going to ask that everybody keep their questions to 3 minutes of the, witnesses. If you have any questions of the witnesses or you wish to make a point, okay, I think 3 minutes is sufficient. I'm not saying I'm going to actually close you out after 3 minutes, but I mean, I think we can all make our point within that time frame. If the discussion goes on further, then so be it, but I would just prefer to have everybody just take 3 minutes for your questions, okay? Is Ryan here, or should we just,
Mr. Ming?
Okay, so we're going to then end this meeting. Okay, so I'm going to ask for a motion to close, and then I think we'll have to do Ryan another night, where, well, we'll have to come down individually, if I'm not mistaken. For those of you who don't know, we are going to be getting tablets. Ryan was going to be here this evening and was going to hand them out and try to have us, I guess, get us signed on. But again, if he has them before our next meeting, I would suggest that we'll send out an email, maybe, Mike, okay? We could send out an email.
I'll text him now.
Well, if he's in this area, fine. If not, then we'll just close the meeting, and
Okay.
we'll just, we can come down when he's available. Each person come down to City Hall and pick up your tablet, and he'll guide you with the sign here. Oh, well, look who's here. All right, I do. I want to close. Motion to close, please.
So move.
So moved by Commissioner Santana, second by Vice Chair Udine. Okay, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Oh, we're all good with that. Okay, so we're closing the meeting, but now Ryan's here.